Good morning, everyone. This is Rokalabena Vedavyas from Aeronautical Engineering B section. Today, my topic is addressing a small group and what for addressing small groups. There, the process is normally will get through other people by using communication. How we have to communicate with others. We'll be getting into today's topic: communication in small groups. Communication is called small groups consist of three or more people who share a common goal and communicate collectively to achieve it. During small group communication, interdependent participants analyze data, evaluate the nature of problems, decide and provide a possible solution or procedure. Additionally, small group communication provides strong feedback, unique contributions to the group as well. As a critical thinking analysis and self-disclosure from each member, small groups communicate through an interpersonal exchange process of information, feelings, and active listening in both two types of small groups, primary groups and secondary groups. In group communication, the first important research study of small group communication was performed in front of a live studio audience in Hollywood, California by social psychologist Robert Bales and published in a series of books and articles in the early and mid 1950s. This research entailed the content analysis of discussions within groups, making discussion decisions about human relations problems, eh, that is weaknesses, and about relationship difficulties within families or organizations. Bales made a series of important discoveries. First, group discussions tends to shift back and forth relatively quickly between the discussion of the group task and discussion relevant to the back and forth relatively quickly between the discussion of group and task relevant to the relationship among the members. And he believed that this shifting was the product of an implicit attempt to balance the demands of task completion and group cohesion. Under the presumption that conflict generated during task discussions causes stress among members, which must be released through positive relational talk. Second task group discussion shifts from an emphasis on opinion exchange through an attentiveness to values underlying the decision to making the decision. This implication that group discussions goes through the same series of stages in the same order for any discussion making group is known as the linear phase model. Third, the most talkative member of a group tends to make between 40 and 50% of the comments, and the second most talkative member between 25 and 30, no matter the size of the group. As a consequence, large groups tend to dominated by one or two members to the determinant of the others. Linear phase model. Another milestone in the study of group discussion content was early 1960s work by communication researchers Thomas Schiedel and Laura Crowell regarding the process by which groups examine individual proposed solutions to their problem. They conducted that after a proposal is made, group discuss it in a implied attempt to determine their comfort level with it and then drop it in lieu of a different proposal. In an implied attempt to determine their comfort level with it and then drop it in lieu of a different proposal. In a procedure akin to the survival of the fittest, proposals viewed favorably would emerge later in discussion, whereas those viewed in unfavorably would not. The authors referred to this process as spiraling. Although there are serious methodological problems with this work, other studies have led to similar conclusions. For example, in the 1970s, social psychologist L. Richard Hoffman noted that odds of a proposal's acceptance is strongly associated with the arithmetical difference between the number of alternatives supporting versus rejecting the proposal. More recent work has shown that group groups differ substantially in the extent of to which they spiral. Additional developments have taken place within group communication theory as researchers move away from conducting research on non-zero history groups and to find a bona fide group's perfect perspective. The bona fide group, as described by Linda L. Putnam and Cynthia Stohib in 1990, fosters a sense of interdependence among the members of the group, along with specific boundaries that have agreed upon by members over time. The provides This provides researchers with model of group behavior that stays true to the characteristics displayed by most naturally occurring groups. Social influence in groups. Work relevant social influence in groups has a long history too. Early examples of social psychology research have been particularly influential. The first of these was by Muzaffar Sharif in 1935. Using the autokinetic effect, Sharif asked participants to voice their judgments of light movement in the presence of others and noted these judgments tended to converge. The second of these was series of studies by Solomon Ash in which neo participants were asked to voice their judgments of the similarity of the length of lines after hearing the judgments of several confederates. Research assistants posing as participants who purposely voiced the same obviously wrong judgment. On about 1 by 3 of cases, participants voiced by obviously wrong judgment. When asked when asked why, many of these participants reported that they had originally made their correct judgment, but after hearing the conference, decided the judgments of the several others. The conference should be trusted over theirs. As a consequence of these and other studies, social psychologists have come to distinguish between two types of social influence: informational and normative. C. Conformative. Information influences which, when group members are persuaded by the content of what they read or hear to accept an opinion. Sheriff's study appears to be an example normative influences occurs. When group members are persuaded by the knowledge that a majority of group have a view, normative influence should not be focused with complaints, which occurs when group members are not persuaded but voice the opinions of the group's majority. Culture. Culture affects the entire communication of a person. Within small groups, there are three specific factors that affect communication. The first factor covers whether a person prioritizes their needs as more or less important than the group's necessities. The second important factor is power division. The degree at which people accept and expect that power is distributed unequally in high power distance cultures and individual of low power would not disagree with an individual with more power than him. On the contrary, in low power distances, cultures, cultures everyone's input and opinions are taking into account in certain decisions. The third factor that affects communication in small groups is uncertainty avoidance. And after that, conflict resolution. Any groups has conflicts topics that people do not agree on, different points of view on how to move forward with the task and so on. As a result, to be able to overcome any conflict that might arise, a six-step conflict resolution will help to overcome the problem. All the group members have to listen carefully to each other, understand the different points of view that were discussed, be respectful and show interest in maintaining a good relationship with the good group members regardless of their opinions. Try to find a common ground, come up with a new solutions to the problem or situation. Finally, reach an on a fair agreement that will benefit everyone. For making a healthy argument and for making a healthy conversation between two persons, there should be first they have to listen each other's words carefully and they have to take the best points from those and they have to be respectful when they are addressing other people. And after overall discussion, the judgment last is taken by the best words spoken by those two peoples. Group decision. During a small group decision, the process can be more open, vulnerable, and can rely on several decision techniques. A common process that small groups incorporate in decision making situations starts by aim orientation, where each member starts to familiarize or socialize with the other members. Secondly, small group members may face conflict where each person shares ideas or possible solutions to a problem. This session is also known as brainstorming. During the conflict stage, subgroups or stronger personalities can merge. Then, small group members advance to a consensus where, after evaluating several ideas, the group agrees to advance. Lastly, is closure, when small group team members agree completely on an idea and start taking action. Nonverbal communication. Body language is a form of nonverbal communication consisting of body pose, gestures, eye movements, and paralinguistic cues, that is, tone of voice and rate of speech. Humans send and interrupt such signals unconsciously. It is often said that human communication consists of 93% of body language and paralinguistic cues, which while only 7% of communication consists of words themselves. However, Albert Klein, the researcher whose 1960s work is the source of these statistics, has stated that this is a misunderstanding of the findings. Physical expression. Physical expressions like waving, pointing, touching, and slouching are all forms of nonverbal communications. The study of body movement and expression is known as kinesics. Humans move their bodies when communicating because, as the research has shown, it helps ease the mental effort when communication is difficult. Physical expressions reveal many things about the person using them. For example, gestures can emphasize a point or relay a message. Posture can reveal boredom or great interest, and touch can convey encouragement or examples. Body language difficulties. Misunderstanding in communications are common because of the many different factors. That is the way of conveying message, which is done through language. Though there is no right or wrong way to communicate, avoiding language barriers such as jargon, bypassing, and offensive language may prevent misunderstanding in group or interpersonal discussions. First, when when a communication is going through a group, then the all group must be knowing a specific language where no misunderstanding and no extra verbal usage is done. So the group discussion will be going very smooth if there is no language barriers, or a language barriers, no jargon, or no offensive language. Body language and space. Interpersonal space refers to the psychological bubble that we can imagine exists when someone is standing far too close to us. Research has revealed that in North America, there are four different zones of interpersonal space. The first zone is called intimate distance and ranges from touching to about 18 inches apart. Intimate distance is the space around us that we reserve for lovers, children, as well as close family members and friends. The second zone is called personal distance and begins about an arm's length away, starting around 18 inches from our personal and ending about our foot away. His personal distance in conversations with friends to chat with associates and group discussions. The third zone of interpersons is called social distance and is the area that ranges from 4 to 8 feet away from you. Social distance is reserved for strangers, newly formed groups, and new acquaintances. The fourth identified zone of space is public distance and includes anything more than 8 away from you. This zone is used for speeches, lectures, and theater. Essentially, public distances is that range reserved for larger audience. Thank you.